Yeah, wrong. I've got my gogs on because simply I'm reading from a computer screen this evening. Let me just do that. Oh, lovely. Right. Evening, one and all. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. And I'm not sure if your nerves are a little frazzled because of the last couple of hours, but we will be talking about that. Just sack him. Just sack him. The man's pathetically inept. Sack him. No, you can't. He's sackless. Tonight we'll be talking about gay Paris. We'll be talking about Elon Musk wanting to do something to you that you probably never had done to you before. The Labour Party. Oh, I say, there is a theory. There is a theory coming that nobody else, no one, no YouTube channel, no mainstream media, no Twitter, X, nothing. And I've got to say thank you to one of the world's best producers who's looked after me for 20 odd years. Thank you for that. And we'll talk about the 40 man, and we'll talk about Glastonbury because it's obviously pants. But first, the reason I've done this is thank you to the Scarlet Pimpernel who's helped me do certain things with the equipment. So that rather than having to print it off and wait for the printer and be a minute or two late, I can now see it. So we've got lots to talk about this evening. Some of it you won't have heard anywhere else. Probably looking to do about 90 minutes this evening. So I'm not sure how long you can stay for, but the longer the better for me. We'll get to the legendary Battenbergers and the next live announcement in a moment. But I just want to say, Andy Turner, I all didn't leave the pews all west this week. Now, as much as I'm very good at code breaking, couldn't break that one, Andy. Andy Turner says, I read the Jay Slater search is over. Something just don't sit right with me. His mate didn't look that concerned on the telly interview, seemed to be smiling, though it's my take on it, I think. I'm being told the audio is a bit pants. Not quite sure why. We have had. Just let me know in the chat if it improves any. But we've had Wi-Fi difficulties this afternoon. Am I on Wi-Fi? Ugh. So there could be a technical issue this evening. I do hope not. I do hope the audio is picking up fine, but it's crackling. How bizarre! Hang on a second. Right, I take the power out. Has that changed anything? Just let me know whether it's still crackling or not. I'll leave the power out. If the phone dies, so be it. All right, we'll do. So, Andy, I'm going to talk about Jay Slater because there's been an update. Like literally within the last 5 minutes, there's been an update. So we'll get into that after we've talked about England. And there's something called, body language experts will tell you, there's something called duper's delight. When people are being interviewed, if they smile, it's kind of a duper's delight. It's really easy to see and spot. And so I fully expected young Jay to pitch up in due course. But this update will tell you everything that you need to know. Still the same, still crackling. What the? I don't know why. Let's see if it settles down. Nigel Green. Oh, a spot of low dusting. Yeah, wrong. Oh yes, I had to clean the pews earlier. The font after Tower Block Tracy and her indiscretion last week. Putting Viagra in the font. I took a lot of elbow grease to de-stiffen it, so to speak. Matt UK. Hi, Nigel. Thank you for the messages on X, formerly known as Twitter. I mean, is it ever going to be just X? Or is it ever going to be just Twitter? Who knows? Mad Matt UK, good to have you in the body of the Kirk this evening, Mad Matt. And Mad Matt says, I think someone has been round with a hairdryer. Oh, I say, whatever you do in the comfort of your own home, Mad Matt, it's not for me to comment. My Battenberg cake is offered out tonight as I'm having strawberries and cream for munchies. Oh, you have the munchies, or you're having munchies. To Rusty Mouse, a feather duster is perfect for getting into places you never thought. Well, I didn't, Rusty Mouse. And then I find out that Elon Musk wants to send a rocket to Uranus. It's made me laugh most of the afternoon, to be fair. So after your feather duster, maybe you're just cleaning the entrance to Uranus for Elon Musk's rocket to enter. Cool, blimey, that was a bit of a struggle. Andy Turner says he's alive, but just letting the dust settle. This is Jay Slater. Then pop up with amnesia, or he will stay over there with girlfriend and mates. He has the dosh to do so, unless people were getting close and the family could. Message hasn't finished off. Andy, Mad Matt. Handbags at 10 paces on the pitch. Oh, a bunch of girls can't fight. Napoleon blown apart. Thank you for the excellent email, Napoleon blown apart. I am going to talk about that on Wednesday rather than this evening because I want to read it out in total, if that's okay with you. Good evening, all, and the irreverent Reverend. Can I just say, what the F at the end of this tournament? Southgate's got to go. He's going to give me an organ failure. I nearly had one of those the other day, but thankfully, Tablock Tracy's addition to the water saved the irreverent Reverend. I joke, but I agree. He's got to go. He's got to go. Let's have Jurgen Klopp back. But Jurgen Klopp said no, seemingly, the other day, which is a bit of a shame. Viv Kenyon says, evening, Rev, and all attending the Roggins. Caught up on Wednesday's sermon as I was out, up to no bloody good, as Dad would say. Yeah, exactly, Viv. We worked you out, yeah, wrong. Nicky Watson, evening all. Hope you're all well this evening. Reverend, got my altar wine ready and waiting. Good on you. There might be a spare slice of Battenberg. Let me just let me just make a note because I was going to ask you something. That's it. Amelia Grassie's in the body of the Kirk. Evening, says Amalia. Sounds like a bad mic. Is it still crackling? Sounds still bad. Oh, feck. Don't know what that could be. As I say, the router was a bit dodgy earlier. I have had this before, very early on when I was in the early days when. Now, I don't know whether to stop this and start it again, but I fear. Let's persevere for another 5 minutes or so, and please keep me informed as to if it's a bit brown. Des Ashton says you've used all your bandwidth on extra time. I fear so, Des. I fear so. Let me have a think. Am I? No, I'm back on. It's a bit crackly, as though you're slightly overmodulating. Oh, I say. Levels too high? Not sure. Let me just... Right. I've turned that down. Is it still crackling? Hi, Adrian, loving the glasses. Who's that? Couldn't see. Napoleon blown apart. Talk. Let's have a look. Honestly, this is why. Right, we'll go back to the beginning. Rather than use the computer, that's why I print it off so I can read it, so there's no mistakes. Amalia Grassi says I had sautéed wrongons for dinners, and now a plate of cherries and strawberries. Rather delicious, if you say so. Oh, I say, is there such a food as wrongons? Well, I'm impressed, Amalia. PT Ham. Oh, dear. That's been retracted. Louise Hampson, evening all, yeah, wrong'uns. And Penny Hen says, good evening, everyone. We're just welcoming everyone into the body of the Kirk. Amalia says she's been on. Ooh, Jay Slater search twist as a former Scotland Yard detective. Issues Airbnb twist. Do I start with that? Do you want that kind of update at the beginning? Because it's literally just coming through. Karen Boo UK says, evening all you wrong'uns. Hope everyone is well. And Lionel Layton says, I've just finished loading my own video to YouTube and now making a sarnie. It's been a bit traumatic, but I'll calm down soon. I feel your pain. Honestly, I feel your pain, Lionel. It's not instinctive. It's not an easy thing to do. It feels like DOS based from 50 years ago. Hang on a second. Andrew James said to Amalia, all the lads will do a striptease and do their Don Quixote tricks as the grand finale to the song Keeping the Dream Alive by Freiheit. There was a song. It's a bit shite, but there was a song. I don't know whether anybody's got this fluey thingy, cold thingy. Somebody said to me it's turning into a 100-day cough. I hope I haven't got this for 100 days. Malia quite rightly batted that one back, saying, Andrew James, I'm not sure whether that's going to be a treat or an unpleasant shock. Unpleasant, if the truth be known, Amalia. Des, you're most welcome into the body of the Kirk. Please find a seat. Budge up. There's still people coming in. You know what it's like. We've only got 153. We normally have over 200 on a Sunday. So there's still a fair few to get in. Shoehorns and well-heeled derrieres, should I say. Josh Ward, oh, hello, Adrian, and everyone else, you absolute wrong'uns. Andrew James is full of, and Rusty Mouse. Bovril is in the body of the Kirk this evening from the Atlantic to the North Sea. Battenberg cake will always be free. Brilliant, you Bovril. Amalia Grassy, good grief, hasn't he finished dusting yet? Someone put the kettle on. Hang on, Amalia. Kettle is always on in my house. Evening, Marcia Toms. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Andy Turner, Penfold. Rusty Mouse, you Googling it? Am I? Gurning? Maybe. Googling. Chris Mundy, anyone else having audio issues? I say, GB Patriot. You look like Harold Lloyd, the old silent comedy star. I wish I had a pound behind him. Control Alt Delete, good to have you in the body of the Kirk. Oi, oi. Yeah, Savaloy. Oh, don't hide. No, I better not. That was a gag that nearly slipped out, so to speak, beyond my lips. Kathy Harper, good evening. Is it still cackling? That'll be my work for the evening. Could say it was a blow job. Awful. Crackly, what? Defo sound problems at your end. Hang on a second. Is it still crackling? Hang on, let me just give it a stroke. I look like a pervert with these glasses on that close up. Is it still crackling? It's crackling. Right, we'll give it. We'll get that away from my ugly fizzog because it might scare the kids. Penny Hen said, "Sounds dodgy." Not first for me, Penny Hen. Amalia Grassi, annoying noise on the microphone. What is Keir Starmer doing in place of the Reverend tonight? Oh, Bovril, he's greyer than me, and I'm older than him, I think. Marcy Tom says, Zach and Ollie. Oh, there you go, Zach and Ollie. I need to pop your cherry with a little bit more gusto. Yeah, wee bit crackling. Rusty Mouse, blowing bubbles here. Must be the way I'm sitting. Rusty Mouse. Napoleon blown apart. Adrian, audio is dodgy. What can I say? Sound is muffled, so it's muffled and crackly and dodgy and bad sound. Karina Jane says, looking very dapper. Adrian, oh, you're very kind. Thank you, Karina. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. And Viv Kenyon, sound is buffering. So we did have a look at. Can I see that? Oh, I might keep them there to hand. The as I say, we had issues with the Wi-Fi. It literally cut out earlier before the England match. I panicked a bit, thinking, hang on a second, it's supposed to be BT's best. Obviously, BT's best is a bit shite. So, hang on, let me just, I'll go right at the bottom because everyone's been just a tad busy on the chat. Talbot Tracy, leave my muffled muff out of this. I think that's a good idea, Talbot Tracy. English bottle cap. When you look towards the camera, there's less crackle. Is it full fibre BT? Yeah, fill you in. Yeah, and I'm not impressed, to be fair. Absolutely not impressed. Sunflower says you're crackling. Thank you, Sunflower. And Neil Cunningham. Every time you do the pop, Adrian, my kitten jumps. As a cat fan, there's nothing better than a laser pointer and cat. Cats love them, and catnip. I've no idea. It's like a mint catnip, seemingly, but it absolutely knocks them off their noggin. Napoleon blown apart. English bottle cap is spot on. What was going on? Yeah. So is it stopping crackling when I look towards the camera? Oh, topic 69, that means I've got to get it out of its cradle, and then you could have sealed me nose and me moobs and everything. So I'm not quite sure the body of the Kirk is ready for that. I'm being forced to pay 600 quid to get FTTP with Vodafone. I can't understand why. I thought I paid my taxes to get feed. What's FTTP? Full transfer protocol. Wow. It's better-ish. Right, okay. Act as if nothing's gone on. So, do we talk about that bunch of donkeys that got away with it in the last 2 hours? Oh, my nerves, my emotions, my everything. Oh, sorry. I've jumped in a bit too early. I want to say the next live is this coming Wednesday, 3rd of July. Again, it's 8 o'clock. And I will tell you in the background, we have been working on some stuff. Can't tell you what yet, but some stuff. A bit of merch, a bit of branding, bit of something called a Rodecaster Pro 2. So working it for a phone-in. But all I'll say is, at least Dick Turpin wore a mask. Because you go to some people, and I say, is there a way of doing this? Of having a full boon of phone-in, and they go, oh yes, we can do that. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. And then they turn around and go, oh, it's going to be hundreds, if not thousands. No, did Nigel Farage use it? Now, I have seen Katie Hopkins use it. But let me tell you, there was a CD released 3 years ago where I called people wronging. And it's audio on there calling people wronging. So, obviously, they're being influenced by the best. And one of the Reform Party doodahs, candidates, said something about what to do with the immigrants that I'd been saying on this channel before. So maybe they're watching. Who knows? Andy Turner, fibre to the pole. Oh, I say, especially if it gets cold. I wouldn't allow fibre anywhere near my pole, to be fair. Mac Star, I ditched Virgin for Vodafone, way better. Thank you, Mac. And talking of legendary Battenburgers, thank you to Mac Star for your kindness on, where are we? Wednesday. Thank you, Mac Star. Do appreciate it. It all goes into benefiting the channel. And to Rich, always a good and a loyal Battenburger. So if you are very kind and you leave a message with a super sticker, super like, a super thanks or something, then I always give you a mention as a legendary Battenburger at the beginning of the live. So, thank you to Max Star and to Rich. As I say, we're going to talk about Paris. Something really weird going on in Paris. We're going to talk about the Labour Party. Sir Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? Oh, wait till I tell you what could be. There is a theory. Can I tell you that Sir Keir Starmer, well, you're going to have to wait. And Glastonbury. I'm sorry, but this feminization of music is it's enough to make a saint swear. But I will talk about it. But Glastonbury, how pants, and I could swear using a lot stronger words about Glastonbury. I mean, there's been dinghy divers and everything there. I'm not joking. But I want to talk about this donkey, Southgate. Hang on a second. I think somebody's Pennine counties as opposed to FTA, fibre to the arse, fibre to the... Well, what can I say? You and your acronyms. Let's talk about donkeys. I don't know why we as a country put ourselves through this. I mean, two worldies, to be fair. Jude Bellingham. And please, can somebody explain to me in the chat or in email why, oh why are we singing Sweet Caroline at the end of an England football match? Is that because we're not very bright? We're not very creative? Why aren't we singing Hey Jude when he saved us with about a minute to go from exiting the competition? I mean, is it because they don't know the words and the football supporters are not very bright? Oh, Sweet Caroline, as opposed to Hey Jude, don't get you down. See, I don't even know the lyrics, so I'm sure that the supporters won't. But I'm just going to kind of give you my take on everything, and I literally was making notes every 66 seconds. So I don't know what the plan was. I mean, most of us have watched footy most of our lives, and we have our favourite teams and our sides and our footballers. I mean, I remember the great English side of '66. I was alive then, not very old before you start. Yeah, wrong. And obviously, Marcy Tom says, I live near Glastonbury, and it's a nightmare when the festival's on. 63 thumbs up from 170 watching. Yeah, the moderator says, yeah, thumbs up, everyone. Smash the likes, please. And, sorry, let me just, I'm leaking. GB Patriot says, Adrian can still talk about Channel 4 setup as Nigel has mentioned it. Oh, GB Patriot, don't you worry. I'm definitely mentioning that. Channel 4, they're going to have the license taken away from them, and it's electoral interference. Oh, Channel 4, what have you done? Yeah, a bunch of caring, understanding 90s types. Anyway, back to the footy, said a spokesperson. The donkeys, the utter donkeys. Now, this worldie from Jude Bellingham, before that, I was looking at thinking, who's taking responsibility for this? Do we drag Kane in and go, here, Harry, mate, we know that you like Germany, and, who's responsible for this? And then Foden's goal was ruled offside by the officials. And I thought, it's the first pass all game that's been forward. Most of it was sideways or backwards. At least we're getting sideways passes now. Before it was all just backwards. I mean, these football players, I know they're not hired or signed for their intellectual prowess. It's their footy, their feet, their ball skills. Got a few of them. I was never hired as a footballer. I agree with you, Popeye Wazza. Yellow cards being given much. I know. Andrew James says, some news for punk oi oi fans. Cherry Red are releasing The Last Resort, a way of life skinhead anthems. Ooh, I didn't realise one was into oi oi. Sorry, oi, skinhead. What was my favourite? Skinhead Moon Stomp. Wasn't that a B-side, one of the Madness singles? Or was it the specials? Skinhead Moon Stomp. What a tune that was. Bit of oi. Love it. But then again, the gay community took the kind of, it's called clone. So it's skinhead, moustache, belt, white t-shirt, tight jeans and Doc Martens. That's the clone. So, Anyway, thank you for that, Andrew James. Rich, can't stand footy. You just need to look at another player. And they're all writhing around in pain on the floor. Bunch of pansies. I agree, Rich. I agree. But some of it's time wasting. And I was looking at how we were playing and what we were playing. And, you know, the managers coming up with the tactics. Just pants. So at one point, we were 7-2 to win the tournament. 7-2. We were highly rated. Even Germany, the hosts, are only 4-1. Well, they were before tonight. Before we scored, we'd had 73% possession. 73% possession. And we couldn't even create a shot on goal. That's how utter, pathetically crap that football game was. I mean, I kept looking at the TV screen thinking, should I stab my eyes out now or should I wait until after the live? It's going to take all of my strength to be able to not do anything because it's... So up until tonight, we had conceded more goals than we'd scored. So we've now conceded two goals and we'd had 2 goals scored, but another 2 tonight. So that knocks that particular stat out. And then there was only 1 shot on goal, and that was the Slovakia goal. Neither keeper had a save to make. And not a single shot on target. So I was looking at this thinking, it's just pants, man. It's just literally, I wanted to grab Gareth Southgate and just give him a good bloody shake, saying, here, mate, you're paid millions. Get these world beaters on the pitch to play like world beaters, because that's your job, mate. No, I'm not. I've given them the tactics, and what we're going to do is we're just going to play it back to the goalkeeper all the time. Oh, man, here. Gareth, mate, Foxtrot, Oscar. How could we... I mean, I'm not looking forward to when we... who do we play? Hang on a second. I have my references. Hang on. Last 16 went to the last 8. Don't know who we're playing in the last 8, but it could be... It's going to be one of the tasty teams, that's for sure. Oh, Switzerland. Yeah, they beat... Italy, did they beat them 1-0? Switzerland, get the collection played out for AA. He needs 1,350,000 for the Mind Games Super Deluxe box set. The Mind 1,350. The Mind. Oh, John Lennon. Oh, Mind Games. I know. There's young Sean thinking, my dad was a billionaire. My mum's got all the money now, so I'm going to come into that when my mum kind of shuffles off. But mummy also has a daughter that's never ever mentioned that she had before she met John Lennon. So the money will go to Sean, half brother to the female, who half sister to Sean. So he's gonna look. He's not gonna want for money, but where's the money gonna go from John Lennon? Eventually, some of it might go to Sean, but what was my point? Why would you price point Mind Games, the box set, with loads of different bits and pieces? 1,350 quid. I thought it was 1,600, to be fair. But they don't need the money. Why are they doing that? Give it away for free. Neil Cunningham, thank you. Italy 2-0 Switzerland. Now, I keep telling you, Switzerland, you need to watch them. Not as in the footy, as in Minster, and I believe that's where the Knights Templar hid all their money. And that's just my own personal theory. Nobody else can nick it, and I've got it here. So if anybody else comes up with that, I know that you've nicked it from this channel. You tart. Bust a blood vessel. What a tongue that was. 2 gits in a car. Do you think Jay Slater might be alive and maybe being held somewhere? We'll get to that in just a little while. 2 gits in a car. Pop-eyed Wazza. Joe Darty Pants Biden still trumping on your mic. Yeah, and he was still trumping at the presidential debate the other night because somebody cut part of the presidential debate, and Joe's just kind of looking forward like that. Trump's saying something, and all you can hear is a body burp. Oh, I say, President Biden, President Poopy Pants' possibly touched cloth during the presidential debate. What can I say? Anyway, back to the footy. So, Jay Slater, more coming, and Glastonbury and stuff, but I want the Labour Party is the one that I want to talk to you about. Anyway, so I believe that the mainstream media are to blame for hyping this stuff up. Now, I do believe that the whole country got a rude awakening by how awful England are in the Euros. I mean, they're awful, because seemingly Southgate, penalty misser Southgate, has no backbone. He's another Joe Biden. His derriere goes 50p sixpence, 50p sixpence. When there's any pressure on, just get rid of him. We've had 8 years. That's enough. He's made a few million. Had to win shite, man. And he's not won anything. Not won anything. Glorious failure. Inglorious failure should be. Just simply because he's won nout. Now, what would happen though? Because is it the old saying, it's better to travel in hope than arrive disappointed. Are we going to get to the final? Ooh. I mean, Portugal have been beaten. Germany are looking all right. Spain are looking all right. They're playing tonight, I think. The English beat. Hands up, she's mine. Or hands off. Fill you in. You remember the time Danny Tomo infiltrated the Labour Party? That basically is what happened to Reform. Well, just be patient. Be patient. It's coming. Said a spokesperson. Amalia Grassi. David Lee Roth. How cool. Guns N' Roses would have been on top of their game then. Excellent. Saw some great bands in the 2000s. Glad I went. Oh, did you go to Glastonbury? I mean, I would love to have seen Public Enemy, because that was, I mean, I love music with an edge, with a passion that is palpable. That's why I love me rock. I love me dance stuff, me soul. I love people that can proper sing. Max Star, imagine how us Scots fans feel. I feel every time, Max Star. I feel it every time, having lived in Scotland for 10 years and loved every single second of it. Again, it's the media building up certain sides so that when they lose, they've got a story. They go, oh, well, they said they were going to win this. And that's what's going to happen to England. It's just going to end in failure, because even though we had 2 worldy goals from Kane and Bellingham, obviously, the rest of them, I mean, just what is Saka doing? I mean, I would sack the Saka. Put him at left back, leave him there. Exactly. The only stat that counts is the scorecard. And I was going to say, the only thing that counts, this is a really easy game, football. It's really easy. All I've got to do is get the bag of wind in the back of the goal. In the net. Umid. Tom Hines, I was there in 82, 83, 84, 86, 90, 91, 92, 93 and 94. Blimey! At Glastonbury. I hope you weren't glamping, because there's kind of one side of Glastonbury. We'll talk about it. The glamping. But musically, I mean, Coldplay. And they've not released anything since the last time they were at Glastonbury, and if they did, it was shite. In my view, I would love to have seen Prince do Glastonbury, and I think the year he died, there were negotiations ongoing to have Prince there. Prince could have played music for like 48 hours non-stop, because he was some boy. Who else would I have? Elvis wouldn't have really. He could have done the legend slot on a Sunday afternoon, but Cyndi Lauper, 71-year-old Cyndi Lauper, 2 hits. I mean, Kylie, yeah, I get that. That's that, yeah. Dolly Parton, maybe. I mean, she's got fake tits, so she's a very clever marketeer. Pauline Makepeace, saw him at Birmingham, but it was not good. Who was that? Who did you see at Birmingham, Pauline? And Stuart, yeah, I'd love to. Jesus. Jesus, I could expire here. Taking out on my shield. So I was watching. Gareth Southgate failed at penalties. He's failed at football management. He's won out. He's won nothing. And you can't say, oh, well, he's done loads of great work, so he's brought some great players through. Those great players would have been there anyway, because any manager worth his salt would have recognised the players. I mean, Ivan Toney on with 2 minutes to go and we hadn't scored. And he was thinking, we're out of the tournament if I don't do something. He should have done it at 60 minutes, mate. There's Kane. Couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo, that boy. I mean, they talk about this. Oh, he scored 6 goals in 6 games. Have you seen how many penalties that boy scored? That's how his stats are good. He's really clever. He gets his stats up by, oh, a penalty. I'll take it, lads. I'm the captain. I'll take it. Oh, here. We're not interested in excuses. They can all foxtrot Oscar, except Jude Bellingham. You could see the last match he was frustrated by the way England were playing. He wanted to move it and get it done and score goals and win. He's a born winner, unlike Harry Kane, who's had to go to Germany to get some silverware. And they've had their worst season ever. I'm being facetious. Breaking, Vicar choking live on air. Pineapple found by the body. Oh, I forgot my pineapple. That's because of the footy. I haven't been able to prepare. Thank you, Town Block Tracy. Vote of confidence. What was I going to say? So we scored 2 goals in 2 minutes. One before, I mean, they added 6 minutes, so we had to get through to extra time. And the commentator was like, oh, more time. And I was thinking, here, you thick prat, why don't you shut the foxtrot up and just say this? We had 90 minutes to do this. We had 90 minutes to win this game. About a side like 150,000 places below us in the FA rankings. We're supposedly number 5. Pathetic. And then Ivan Toney with 2 minutes left to play. Although Ivan Toney played out of his skin and helped the England side. So why doesn't see, I'm trying not to swear, and I'm trying to keep this up with the same speed as that. I just wish that Gareth Southgate, Euros in '96, we were going to win it, and he missed a penalty. So now he's the manager of England, and they've fated him and blown smoke up his backside, and he needs to foxtrot Oscar. No, mate, just resign. Just resign. A 5-year-old has better tactics. There's the goal, lad. There's the ball. Right, lads, just run at them and put the ball in the back of the net. We'd be 5 up in 10 minutes. Oh, no. You have to pass. Keep it on the floor. We need possession for the stats so that when I move on to my next managerial job, which will be Accrington Stanley, then I can show them I'm very good at stats. I'm very good at possession football. Man, it's 2024. We just want winners. Oh. And the other thing, as a final point, that really brasses me off is that all the other sides, like Portugal and Ronaldo, he might not even get picked for the next match. And there's Spain, they're struggling. Germany's the only side, really. And, I mean, it's all set up possibly for a German win. You know what the Germans are like? Yeah. And it's the best chance we've got as a national side to bring a bit of silverware back. And what does he do? Right, lads, just pass it back to the goalkeeper. No, the goal's that way. Yeah, but pass it back. Pickford's that way. Oh, Jesus. Southgate, man, just foxtrot Oscar. It's just... Southgate needs bringing down a peg or two. Call for Tower Block Tracy. Actually, Tower Block Tracy would know exactly what to do. Her ball skills are legendary. So I'm told. Pennine Counties, the Conservative Party would only benefit from CPR. Completely, but I am going to talk about that in just a little while. So, Yeah, we'll get on to some. I've talked about the footy. I don't. And you can't choose your football team. None of these Londoners that are Manchester United supporters, born and bred in Sunderland, that's my football team. Thankfully, I didn't go black and white. I stayed red and white. Although my nephew, I jest you not. This is a true story. So my nephew was turning into a Newcastle United supporter, and he had the shirt and everything. I mean, he was only a bairn. He was only kind of 4, 5 maybe. And so he had to be taken to one side. And he was basically told, here, unless you change your allegiance to red and white, not black and white, find yourself a new home. What do you mean? Well, if you stay a Newcastle United supporter, you're homeless, mate. We'll just put you in a home. Thankfully, he's now a season ticket holder at the Stadium of Light. But and I'm sure it's the opposite way. I'm sure there are Newcastle United supporters whose children are like, oh, I like red and white. No, you bloody don't. Because the rivalry is it cuts deep in the northeast. Let's talk about, and I really want to. I'll get to Jay Slater next because of what's just been breaking, but. A friend of mine who shall remain nameless, but he's someone that I trust impeccably. I trust his word. So I'm passing it on to you almost verbatim because my friend he's worked with me on my radio shows for 25 years. A fantastic guy, straight up and down. Doesn't mince his words. Doesn't muck about. And he had a conversation with a Labour Party member. That's all I'm going to say. Anne Widdecombe. Are they just hiring uglies in reform? Not that I'm insinuating anything, but Anne Widdecombe. Well, I mean, she's not Angela Rayner, is she? That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, my friend spoke to someone in the Labour Party. And I'm not going to say where or when or how or any more details because this is quite incendiary. And they were talking about what was happening at local level, not national level, local level. And they gave a theory that Sir Keir Starmer will be elected because remember, it's identity politics. You're voting for a president. It's presidential politics. So there's only ever two parties. That's what the Westminster want because they want you. Hang on, who's got a great growler? Stadium of Light, more like Stadium of Shite. GB Patriot, fuck off. Sandra Witham, same in Sheffield. Our family has to be red and white. I agree. Sorry, GB Patriot. But honestly, you can't. Look, Sunderland beat Newcastle 5 matches on the bounce. And the Geordies took, I mean, it was sufferance for them. But they got so upset, they came out and started punching the police horses. There's a very famous photograph of a guy in a Newcastle United top punching a horse. And you think, what's the horse done to you? It was us, the Mackhams. So it runs so deep and within families that, I mean, I am sure that if I'd popped out the womb going, how are the lads? Sorry, how are the lads? My mother might have said, here, put him back in. Don't want him. Send him back to the factory. He's defective. Adrian, did you know Billy Butler is moving to the Isle of Man to host a new show on Manx Radio? Neil didn't. Is it sort of a semi-retirement for Billy? He's been on the radio for long time. Tom Harneys says talks more sense than Angela Rayner. And Philippa Fraser, hiya Philippa. The quality of sound is awful tonight, crackling all over it. I don't know what that can be. It must be YouTube's feed. It has to be because it's the same phone, same Wi-Fi. It hasn't buffered at all tonight, and it sometimes does. But I apologise for the sound quality. There's not really much I can do. Hopefully it will have vastly improved by Wednesday. So please try and stay as long as you can tonight because I have some very important information. So let's get back to the Labour Party. So Keir is going to get into power. Oh, that'll be why. Right. Okay. Right. I'm going to muck about here. If you bear with me, just so that. Right. There we go. Oh, do you know it buffers when I come out of the app? That's very weird. But I've turned the Bluetooth off. Tell me if it's. It sounds like your mic is rubbing against your shirt. I mean, I do have lapel mics. Has it improved? Have I fixed it? There you go. So I had Bluetooth. So basically, I will get back to the Labour Party because it is important. But basically, we were working with the Rodecaster Pro, this mixing desk that we're hopefully going to use for the phone in. And we wanted to connect it via Bluetooth. Otherwise, I don't have Bluetooth activated on my phone because, you know, you end up with stuff on your phone that people kind of send you via Bluetooth. Thankfully, thank you to the Scarlet Pimpernel for giving me the solution. I do hope that the sound is much better for you now. Thank you. So Labour Party, let's get back to it. Top tech support. I know, Scarlet Pimpernel from 200 and 300 miles away. So this is what's going to happen. This is the theory around what's going to happen in the Labour Party. You heard it here first, nowhere else. If anything like this that I'm about to describe to you happens, you know that the information that I've had from the source is pucker. So, Sir Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? Oh, he will do. He's going to get into power. But there are factions within the Labour Party that want him gone. So they're saying to Sir Keir Starmer, right, Keir, right, you've got 100 days. And the deal is this. Sir Keir Starmer will get into power and he'll go after 100 days. Why? Because they're saying that there's an agreement with all the ministerial posts, the cabinet posts, the jobs in the Labour Party, in the parliamentary Labour Party, they're all sorted and they're all agreed. But once he gets into power, the word is he's not going to deliver. He's just going to go his own way because the power is going to go to his head. So the national executive, the Labour national executive, will get rid of him along with the unions, who are still powerful within the Labour Party. So just watch out for it. It's not being said anywhere else, I think because it's incendiary. And as I've said many times on these lives, I'm not really interested in talking about one particular political party because they're all at it. Oh, the old Bovril. Are they bringing Tony back? Nah, they couldn't. They couldn't. I mean, if they get rid of... So what they're saying is Sir Keir Starmer will be elected with the Labour Party on July 4th. But then he's going to balk on the ministerial jobs and the ministerial posts and all that he'd agreed going forward. And then the Labour National Executive and the unions will go, here, Keir, mate, you agreed with us this. So there'll be an almighty nuclear explosion within the Labour Party and they'll get rid of him as Prime Minister. And you know who's going to be the next Prime Minister? The Labour Party want the first female Labour Party Prime Minister. Because you know how woke they are. Sir Keir is establishment, but he's not really woke-ish. He can't decide whether chicks were dicks. Or he doesn't even know what a woman is. Ask his wife. So, no, they can't bring Linton back. He's not an MP. Well, of course he's not an MP. But look at Cameron. Look at Cameron. Cameron, not an MP. He's a Lord now. But he can, if it need be, he could have stepped back in. But I do believe that the rich boy is absolutely out on his feet. He doesn't. He just doesn't want to know anymore. He's had enough. Look, I've got all my billions in the bank. Well, actually, it's not mine. It's the wife's. And I've got a nearly £8 million house in California that I'm going to bugger off to. And he's got a job in California. I know that he's had a job offer in California. So they're saying that the next Labour leader is a straight fight out between Angela Rayner and Yvette Cooper. And I kind of get Yvette Cooper because she's been doing a lot in the mainstream media the last month or so. She's had lots of articles that she's written about varying things. So these are the names that are being bandied about just to get Labour into power. Can you imagine a Ginger as Prime Minister? Angela Rayner? Oh, can you imagine? Aye, right. Hey, you wrong-uns. I'm from Manchester. And, right, you're a bunch of wrong-uns. I'm in charge now. I'm in charge of the Labour Party. Yes. I'm moving up. Moving on up. Said a Manchester band. people. So, according to this particular source, and I quote, he thinks he's changed the Labour Party, but he hasn't, because the unions still hold sway. So I'm hearing that Sir Keir Starmer is gone once in power. Vote for Labour is a vote for the Labour executive and the unions, I'm being told. And Channel 4 still have the knives out for Nigel. Should we get into that? So this, I will talk about it in more depth in just a few moments. But this actor guy, Channel 4 miraculously happened to be filming while this guy made the comments about Rishi and gay men. It's a bit like filming the building that the first plane went to for 9/11. BBC's now in trouble for the Glastonbury coverage. How many free Palestine in the crowd? It's subliminal. You'll just keep seeing the flag. Just keep seeing the flag. And some dinghy divers were crowd surfing with immigrants in a dinghy. A bit tasteless, don't you agree, BBC? You could have cut away to the crowd or something. So just remember what I've told you about the Labour Party. So Keir Starmer keeps telling everybody he's changed Labour. He certainly hasn't given or been in Labour. But once he's in power, he's not going to keep with the agreements. He's not going to keep his word. So we could end up with the first Labour female Prime Minister. Didn't see that coming, did you? So just a little warning that Wreck-It Starmer is going to wreck Britain, according to Rishi. It's on the front page of the... Hang on a second, let's see if I can... So on the front of the Mail today, Rishi warning, Starmer will wreck Britain in just 100 days. Now, as I've told you, there could be a move because of his lack of integrity around what he agreed with those that are going to put him into power. Starmer again. I agree, Hayden. It means that the nuclear button is going to be detonated politically in 100 days. 3 months. Where are we? July, August, September. Blimey, by the time we get to October. Oh, you know what that means, don't you? In October. Isn't October the conference season? Ooh, that would make sense. So it's all going to kick off in September. All going to go, poof. Somebody's going to say to Sir Keir, here, Keir, Foxtrot Oscar. Just keep an eye on it. That's what I always say. Let's get to, we'll talk about that, well, what can I say? That dirty tart in Wandsworth. All the prisoners in Wandsworth are like, oh, can I have a go? Can I have a go? And if anybody's sentenced, they're like, oh, can you send me to Wandsworth, please? It seems like, and you know that the governor at Wandsworth Prison was called Katie Price. You can't make it up, honestly. You can't, not that Katie Price, but somebody called Katie Price. She's resigned because it's uncontrollable, seemingly. But Jay Slater, We'll get to that in a minute. Jay Slater. They have given up on the search because they've not really found anything. They've not really got any new leads. Even Mark Williams Thomas was out there doing a bit of investigating, and he's turned around and said that he believes his kind of working hypothesis is that it's related to the drugs trade on the island. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, which bit of... do we need people to go out there to tell us what's going on? We know what's going on. He's upset some very powerful businessmen. And the businessmen have gone, where's my money? Wasn't that lock, stock and two smoking barrels? Like somebody lost some money. A businessman had lost some money. So the latest is this. I'll get straight into it. The 2 men in the Airbnb have been cleared. The police say they're not relevant. Only 5 people showed up to search for Jay Slater for one of the more recent searches. So the locals are not particularly interested in it. The family have gone out there. Lottie Martin. There you go, Lottie. Terrible all these people going missing abroad, I know. But do you know something? We're obviously not... I believe that there's a couple of strands to this. So we're obviously not going to be told any semblance of truth because, one, why aren't the newspapers digging into Jay Slater's machete attack? Why aren't they reporting that? We know that he's gone missing. So it's either going to be one of two things. The businessmen have gone, give us the money. Because I understand that there were certain individuals dealing in sorry, I was just reading something. So the money's gone missing. Whether it's the gear that's gone missing and it's worth X amount of pounds, or whether the X amount of pounds has gone missing. And the businessmen have caught up with whomever they wanted to speak to, and either he's in bits and being fed to the pigs, I agree with GB Patriot. We will talk about Nigel Farage and the BBC and Channel 4 in just a few minutes. But this GoFundMe has the mum. From what I can gather, the mum's withdrawn the whole amount because she says, well, we need to cover accommodation and food. 36 grand in Tenerife. I understood that the organisers of the dance festival and some of the government authorities within Tenerife were helping the family source accommodation for free. I think her accommodation was being covered, Rich. So, not sure why they would need to withdraw all £36,000. Now, I'm flying a kite here because I don't have any irrefutable evidence. But my local source has only seen 3 Jay Slater flyers, as in like, have you seen this boy? He's missing. During his stay on the island. As I say, Mark Williams Thomas believes the misper is related to the drugs trade on the island. Now, here's the rub. Tenerife is promoting itself as a family destination. It's promoting itself as a great place to get sun, some great family hotels. It's a great place to take families. And if you've got major gear being flogged on the island and it comes out in the press that the island is awash with gear, then they're not going to be very happy. That's going to hit the bottom line. That's going to hit everybody's bottom line and purses. Specialist police officers have detained a suspect northeast drug dealer after a raid on the Canary Island of Tenerife. The 55-year-old man is from the northeast. That'll be interesting. See whether it's smoggies, because there's some some very tasty businessmen in Middlesbrough. So let's wait and see. But that's, again, literally breaking news. So the news cycle is changing by the minute. Never mind the hour or the day, by the minute. So they've arrested a northeast drug dealer after a raid on the Canary Island of Tenerife. I wonder what's going on. Now, if it's North Neraku, that would be Northeast Regional Office Crime Unit. It's not narcotics. Anyway, they've been working with the National Crime Agency and Spanish police to apprehend the man, aged 55. He was successfully arrested on Monday in Tenerife. So it's got legs. There's more to this story. Let me finish off what the two big influences. So the powers that be in Tenerife don't want anybody, especially tourists, with a lot of that. They don't want them to think, oh, well, Tenerife's a bit dodgy, I'll go somewhere else. It's not exactly Ibiza, but it's Tenerife, it's cuddly, it's family orientated. So the powers that be want the tourist dollar, or the tourist pound, if you wish. The other one are the police. They don't want to have major news stories and journalists poking around into their affairs, because they've got it nice and quiet, nice and sorted and nicely controlled. The police will know exactly who's doing what. Just depends how much, you know. So tourism on the island is geared to families. The police's working hypothesis: Jay Slater vanished on a path. So, initially, Lucy the friend. Have you noticed how she's disappeared? Lucy? Where's she gone? Yeah, while King Charles III struggles with cancer, the BBC broadcasts a far-left band shouting, "Fuck the King," at Glastonbury. It's unacceptable! The BBC, unacceptable! Defund them, flatten the lot of it. So, after 2 weeks, the search has been called off for Jay Slater. Is Jay going to quietly pop up in England after the businessmen have been paid off with a 36 grand in GoFundMe? Because it was, from what we were hearing, Lucy said, he texted and said he's only got 1% left. Battery. And then his mate went, oh yeah, I was talking to him on the phone. He was on a path. I could hear the gravel. Can you smell that? Bullshit. So, they've got the 36 Gs. Pay the businessmen off who might want a bit of interest because they're businessmen. So where's that money going? I mean, it needs to be transparent. They need to have a representative to say, right, we're taking 5 Gs because we've got this accommodation to pay for, subsistence and the food, and they're searching this area of the island and that area of the island, but they're not. Just like, oh, thanks very much, we've got the money. Andy Turner, I agree with you. Has Bunny Penny done anything on this? Because Bunny Penny is tenacious. Love Bunny Penny. Brad was laughing. Curious. So anyway, the breaking news is police are now looking at CCTV. Oh, why would they be doing that? Oh, honestly, that should be part of the investigation. They're looking at CCTV because, according to what's coming out, Jay Slater appears to have been stabbed. So was getting cut by the cactus an excuse for the stabbing? Now, we don't know how seriously he was stabbed, but that's what's coming out. That literally came out about an hour ago. The media are also, they did say, you know, they were kind of running two investigations in tandem, and there's been a stolen Rolex on the island, not far from where Jay was, and the media called some of the postings around the stolen Rolex conspiracy theories. Now, the media, I mean, would you believe these Muppets. Yet the police are investigating this stolen Rolex. They're not sure whether it has any bearing on the case, but it's just something else that they're having to look at. The media now backtracking. So the media are culpable in all of this. The mainstream media, they're not telling you the truth. They're not. You would expect at least a couple of journalists to go out there and investigate what's gone on. Stick a $5 or a 20 here, there, and everywhere, and can I talk to you? And go door knocking, and there's been none of that. Why is that? Because it's a fairly big story. Why not? Oh, Rich. So Rolex wasn't a watch. It's a name of the gear. So was it speed? Was it... The police are keeping a close watch on the situation. And yes, indeed, Rolex is a code word for gear. Oh. It's all a bit weird. Do you not think? Oh, slang for Colombian. Interesting. Bit of marching powder. So there's more to come out. What they're spending the 36 grand on. Andy Turner says, and how did this become a story? Lottie Martin. Wow, I agree with you, Lottie. I didn't realise that either. So I still maintain Mark Williams Thomas is very close to the truth. I believe that Lucy has disappeared. She's not on the island anymore. I'll guarantee you that. She'll be gone. But why would you just leave your mate, your best friend, seemingly? Mark Starr says, yup, gives you a great time. He could have jogged the whole way round. If that is the truth for the gear. But why this? Oh, I've been cut by a cactus. I mean, how lax is that? Oh, look at that, I've been stabbed by a cactus. No. Is cactus a code word? When I was in Peru, at the cleansing retreat, ayahuasca, that's the cleanser, for Huachuma. Huachuma is actually a cactus. So maybe it's a code, who knows? But the police are looking at CCTV. This story isn't over by a long, long stretch. But so a mate of yours goes missing. What do? You go looking. You don't leg it unless there's a reason why you're legging it. And then all the family are going out for all-inclusive stays in hotels on the island. And I thought all their accommodation was looked after. But that seemingly is why the 36 grand has been taken out of the GoFundMe fund to fund stuff. So it's not, I know, wow, it's just... So if your mates are coming out trying to search for you, why wouldn't the media report that 20 or 30 locals from Oswald Twistle in the northwest, which I know well, what? I don't get it. And the family's out there, and the ex-husband of the mother has been really weird about all this. Yeah, go fund gear. I'm not going to use that D word, Napoleon blown apart, but I agree with you completely. So it just, is it me, or does it just feel like it's a bit weird? I mean, it's been weird since 2020, March 2020, when we all went into lockdown. So now we're all suspicious about everything. I mean, including, you are aware of the Wandsworth video. You are aware of, so that's the Jay Slater update. We'll leave that there for the moment. I want to touch on, pun intended, this Wandsworth video of a screw screwing a lag. That's as short as I could make it. But I can't talk about specifics simply because a female has been charged with, is it malfeasance in public office, or malfeasance in office, or misconduct in office. So I mean, I've seen the video, and you just think, why would you do that? Why? Because it's everywhere now, and as I found out today, nothing ever disappears from the internet. Nothing. So I found old versions of adrianallen.com, which I have as a website. And this is 20 odd years ago. I had adrianallen.com from sort of 2020. Me and my webmaster, who was brilliant, he and I created this website, and we took it down. Cool. 2004, 2005, around about ages ago, 20 years ago. There are still versions of it in the ether somewhere. And I was looking at it today. So don't worry, that video is going to stay online forever, unless, obviously, Joe Biden decides to blow us all up, in which case it'll go. But this... So if you look at the England side, it's all about these influencers, these people that are like, oh yeah, I've got my own social media platform, and yeah, I've got my own website, and yeah, I'm making money. So like Lauren Goodman, who's now out in Germany. Alexa, the Bovril is asking if you're a bit off colour.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Unlike you. Thank you, the Bovril. She's still there and causing chaos. Lottie says that's amazing that everything stays. It does in various versions. I think there was four versions of the website kept. Called it scraped. So there was 4 versions scraped, and they're there. So when I say stuff, I now can have the corroboration of stuff that was happening 20 years ago, because I had something called the Jousting Arena, which is kind of a bit like YouTube, but it was a board where people just commented about stuff. Bit of an extension of my phone-ins. Yeah, Nicholas says he's passing the collection plate around. Please hit the like button. Thank you very much. We're over 200, and really would appreciate it. So let's get back to so my take on what goes on. So all you need is notoriety. Controversy sells, or controversy if you're Prince. Controversy sells. So if you're out in Germany with somebody's kids and his wife is there with his other kids, you're going to get loads of coverage. Oh dear. Ah well. How sad. Never mind. The mainstream media not covering it. So she's this Lauren Goodman is going to do Celebs Go Dating. Wasn't Esther Ranson on that? Tom Harley's. I've already put my thumbs up. Thank you, Tom. So they're saying, oh, she's a 33-year-old influencer. Influence what? Can she influence the weather? Can we have her make the sun shine, that big orange ball shine in the sky, so that, the government can't see the clouds? So it's going to lash it down. Seems it's going to rain next week. You don't say. It's summer in England. But this female is now charged with misconduct in office. The video, it's a 4-minute video, is everywhere. But you look into her background, and I'll comment on the background, I won't comment on the case. But she's a swinger, which is why somebody said, Adrian, why don't you put a pineapple in the background of your lives? Because seemingly, pineapple is code. We're already doing loads of code tonight. Code for swingers. So this girl's Instagram has a pineapple and a pair of peepers next to her. So I don't know whether they're voyeurs or what they are. But she's married with a child, and the hubby is an MMA fighter. And they did some TV show where they joined in with a whole load of swingers to have a mass dance, shall we say, to keep it clean because it's a family show. So the rumours are that she'd already left her job, but we don't, from the uniform. Well, the video's online. You can find it anywhere you want. Wandsworth video, you'll find it, especially on X. It's all over the place. But why would you do that? And here's my theory. So long as the controversy sells, a pineapple with a clothes peg attached. Buffalo. What on earth? Are you pervert? I am teasing you. A pineapple with a clothes peg attached. Never heard that one. And I am quite an experienced kind of guy. So I do know that, and the reason why I used Lauren Goodman as an example is because she goes out of Germany. It's all over the media. She's an influencer. She's got her social media footprint, and people will, click and like and subscribe and all that. But because she's in the mainstream media, it'll be like millions of people will be watching her, and millions of people will be clicking likes and on X profiles and Insta and all the stuff. But the press are not really playing ball. So this female has been caught and has been charged with misconduct in office. She's an OnlyFans model, they say. Hang on a second, Nicholas. In 1988, I came across a dogging site, where couples park and dance while others watch. So I thought I'd stop and join in. It was okay, but unfortunately I failed my driving test. That's actually very funny, Nicholas. Very funny. I'll use that. Yeah, Rich, I looked at it a little earlier, and seemingly misconduct in office can amount to a life sentence. Now, I'm not sure she's going to get a life sentence for doing what she did, and she freely resigned, from what I'm being told. And if that's the case, and she set herself up as an OnlyFans model, then, there are some... Denise Richards, I was trying to think of her name a little earlier. So Charlie Sheen's ex-wife, Denise Richards, actress, she's done some movies, but she's now an OnlyFans model and raking in millions. So all these influencers are kind of migrating away from, I don't know, YouTube, Insta, X, whatever, because they're not going to make millions, but they can do, they can go off to OnlyFans and make millions. So I wonder if this controversy, depending on how long or how the court case, what the output of the court case is, as to whether people will go. I mean, all the lags, they can't have the internet. They can't have like subscriptions to OnlyFans, can they? While they're inside. Andy Turner, I thought about doing it. AA. What, OnlyFans? Hayden, name is Marge. She spreads like butter. Who's paying? AI? Ooh. So Rich is saying, I'd bet she gets at least 2 years now, because it was quite shocking. Is it in jail, or is it a mock-up? They're saying it's Wandsworth, but with all the teddies on the bed, we won't know. We literally won't know. But the video's everywhere. You can go and watch it yourself. It's not as graphic as I thought it was going to be. But remember, there was it Channel 4 who did Banged Up, Locked Up, something where they got famous people to go into a mock-up of a jail. We don't know. But we'll leave it to the courts to deal with proportionately and appropriately. But I still think that it's getting a bit silly that everything is feeding into OnlyFans now. Fake taxi. Who's that? Rich. Don't know what you mean, Rich. So OnlyFans is making people very wealthy for as I said a long time ago, it used to be your mum would knock on doors selling Avon. Now she gets a man from Uncle Badge out and makes £1 million on OnlyFans. Suspended for 2 years, but she will make a fortune from the media and OnlyFans. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Andrew. So we've covered the Labour Party. We've covered what I wanted to say about OnlyFans and Jay Slater. And here's some insider information. You won't be seeing this anywhere because the Olympics are, the French and Paris Olympics are not on us just yet. But for the Olympics, I am being told that you need a QR code to get into Paris. I mean, does that not take your breath away? That is legit. It is legit. You'll need a QR code to enter Paris. What is that a practice for? This dystopian nightmare that they're seemingly wanting to foist us upon us? But you know that French politics is getting a kicking from the right. Now, you know I don't subscribe to, well, they're left-wing or they're right-wing or they're centrist or they're this or they're that. It's just divisive behaviour by the powers that be. I mean, the Democrats in America, they'll be desperate for some race riot somewhere. They just use these things to divide us. But what would you need a QR code to get into Paris for? They can then control everyone. A digital pass will be required to travel to certain areas of Paris, secured for the Olympic opening ceremony, says Tablock Tracy. As of May 13th, 2024, a platform allows you to obtain the required QR code from July. That's genuine. But why would they want to do that? Yeah. They'll want digital ID and fingerprints to travel across Europe very soon. Oh, yeah. It's all part of the plan. It's all in there. But the fact that this is actually being actively used by the French government, who are one of the backers of what's going on in Europe, because they're still part of Europe. According to Tablock Tracy, the rules... Well, that one's gone. Anyway. Keep your eye on that, because R&B star about to headline Glastonbury's Pyramid Stage. Who? SZA. Who? Or as my granddad used to say, who are they when they're at home? Yeah, the French are very worried that it's going to be another civil war. But the Olympics are being given as an excuse to make sure that no one in gay Paris can move about freely. Let's get a Channel 4 and Nige, because I've written this out because it was quite a complex thought process. So you're aware that there's a racism row, seemingly in an astonishing story. Whether or not, and this is just my take on it, whether or not Channel 4 paid Andrew Parker. I mean, it's hard to see how they can come out of this unscathed. And as I see it, there are 4 possibilities. Channel 4 set up and paid Parker. They are explicit in saying that they did not. Someone else, production company or third party, paid Parker. This is, Andrew Parker is this actor that said some racist things, and everybody's pointing the finger, the j'accuse, so to speak, linking it to Paris, around Nigel and Reform. They literally are desperate to try and stop Reform and Nigel Farage and Richard Tyson et al. They're desperate to stop them because they're really worried that the nice cushy number that all politicians and the political classes have had and have is going to go into the wind, into the night, come July 4th. So, as I say, someone else, production company or a third party, so the Channel 4 have deniability, paid Parker. So if Channel 4 knew, this is as bad as option 1. Now, if Channel 4 didn't know, it means they did no due diligence for such a consequential story that would be grossly irresponsible and must lead to consequences. Option number 3, Parker was acting unpaid deliberately to smear the Reform Party. Now again, either Channel 4 knew, in which case their piece was deliberately deceptive, or they did not, which would again mean no due diligence and grossly irresponsible journalism. Now, this Andrew Parker geezer, I can use that because he says he's a rough speaker. What's that? Like Tourette's on steroids. Oh, I'm a rough speaker. Me too. You're caring, understanding 90s type. But has a posh voice, acting voice. So either Parker was a Reform Party UK supporter, just expressing his genuine views, but for some reason he's put on his actor's alter ego accent. And just by chance, oh I say, Channel 4 reporter was paired with him. No, as Doctor Who says, no such thing as coincidence in the universe. Well, I mean, I suppose it's not completely impossible, but option 4 is the best case for Channel 4, but even that would not get them off the hook. I mean, they're proper in the doo-doo, proper. So the fact that Andrew Parker was an actor was surely relevant info that Channel 4 had a duty to include in its piece. If they knew but deliberately concealed it, that would be outrageous. Now, given it took social media a couple of hours to find out that Andrew Parker was an actor, if Channel 4 didn't know, it means they didn't bother to do even the most basic checks. This would again be not just shoddy, but completely irresponsible journalism. Now, option 4 seems unlikely to me, but if that was indeed the situation, Channel 4 still need to be held to account for withholding the information about Andrew Parker being an actor. The other options surely involve serious breaches of broadcasting standards, but perhaps also criminality. So, no wonder Richard Tice has put in a complaint to the Electoral Commission, and the Channel 4 piece is likely to have significant consequences for this particular election. The Electoral Commission need to get to the bottom of this very, very fast. And whatever comes out, a bit like the Russell Brand debacle, about which I'm going to do a video over the next couple of days. Channel 4 haven't got a great record. I know Rich says Channel 4 have deniability. Well, it's this, it wasn't us. No, it wasn't us. The production company hired him. Seemingly it's gone through 2 production companies before it got to Channel 4, and Channel 4 have got the deniability of, well, it went through, it wasn't us, Governor. Wasn't us. Well, it's the same as the post office in Sir Alan Bates now. They all deny it, think they can get away with it. But Channel 4 are the broadcaster. Channel 4 broadcast it. So Channel 4 have to pay the price. I think this is a massive story. I think it has a huge impact on the general election on Thursday. I believe that the system and all the political classes want reform gone, Nigel Farage gone. This is electoral meddling. But maybe they'll just leave it. But they can't really leave it, because if this affects the election of any of Reform or any of the other political parties, then Channel 4 is right in the shite. I was going to mention 2 things. Kobe Mainoo, I was so glad that he played for England. He made his Premier League debut 8 months ago. His Premier League debut 8 months ago. And he's starting for England. He's an FA Cup winner. What a boy that, what a player that boy's going to be for England. Glastonbury, where are the rock gods? Where are the great, massive bands and artists that can just knock this utter? Dua Lipa, whatever, if that's your bag. Swifty, if that's your bag. For me, I believe they're all shite. Now, I know that all that music is meant to do is just reflect back to that generation themselves and to get your disposable income out of your trouser pocket into theirs. So you get some, I don't know, you get some pretty girls who, girls aloud if you want, who just sing some nice songs and you buy them or rent them if it's iTunes. But Rolling Stones, where are the super bands? The Umarian meme and the super bands. Des Ashton has a very good point. They're all in rest homes. Well, they've died from the jibber jabber. But so Shania Twain. When was the last time she had a bloody hit? And I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Shania, but that doesn't impress me much. So she did the Legends slot. How many of the big hits did everybody sing along to? 2? Did Robbie, what's his face from Take That? Robbie Williams, did he do the duet with her? And then Dua Lipa, and she comes out and says, I'm not lip syncing. I think having better songs might work. I mean, Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Prince. There are a load of singers. Look, Sissy Houston, Whitney Houston's mother, was a better singer than Whitney, in my humble view. Aretha Franklin, she's not around anymore, but these huge, James Brown's not around anymore, but these huge soul artists that literally could sing anybody off stage. And who do we get? Dua Lipa. She has a great voice, but like the utter pants reportage in the newspapers is just not even funny. I mean, she can now say, oh, well, you know, I've headlined at Glastonbury and Coldplay being brought back because there's nobody better. Hello. My daughters went to see Girls Aloud, said Corina Jane. Napoleon Bonaparte. Deep Purple. Tower Block Tracy. Shania, last hit was from ex-hubby Mutt Lang, allegedly. Who let the dogs out? Mutt, 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 Mutt. Whitney had better songs, though. I agree, Rich. And she kind of wrote them or took some songwriting credits. But Sissy Houston, that's why Aretha and all of the great singers used Sissy as a backing singer, because she just had amazing pipes. Amy Winehouse was the only hope of saving that festival, but unfortunately she's no longer with us. I agree, Theo Bovril. Amalia Grassi. Lemmy, what a voice and a performer. I'm with you. I am definitely with you. Ace of Spades, there is it makes you want to run through walls. Isaac Hayes, Black Moses album, I'm with you, Des. That's an amazing album. That is just wonderful. From Time Out, these digital ID cards, they just made New York travel way easier. Hooray to no more rifling through your wallet on the security line. Andrew, I agree to a certain extent. We've got the Oyster cards in London, and I don't know, have we got anything in Manchester? We don't have anything in the northeast. But they can trace exactly where you're going. And even if you like, when I'm in London, if you go through and use your credit card, they still know who you are. They still know where the credit card was and is and who's using it. So it's just one more step. They do say that if you're going to go from A to Z, you don't go from A to Z straight away. You go from B to C to D to E, and nobody sees it coming. Billy Joel, oh, that would be New York Minute. Love that song. Tablock Tracy, I saw Lemmy and Motorhead a few times and shared a Jack and Rolex with him back in 2010. Yeah, wrong. Brian Adams, yeah. Princess Di loved him. So we're rumoured. Hawkwind, Status Quo. I understand Hayden Status Quo doing their final tour ever. Come out this week. Whitesnake, yeah, definitely. Saw Fairport twice. First time was awful. Second gig was fantastic. Brilliant. Peter Sadler, Swift cards in the West Midlands for travel. Ooh. So you see, they just introduce them, and the thing that they tell you is it's for your benefit. If you use one of these Swift cards or Oyster cards or anything that just you tap in and tap out, then it's brilliant for you. It's so easy. And that's how they couch it. Sunflower, definitely leopard. The All Bovril, they have deep fried Mars bars in Manchester, though. They don't like oysters. Oh, brilliant. Oh, talking about deep fried Mars bars, Marianne Faithfull's been in the news this week. Now, only people of a certain age will get this, but I think it's wonderful. Google it. Google it. Just Google Marianne Faithfull Mars bar. What do you mean? What's the story? Have you never heard it? It's a bit like The Pretenders. Don't get me wrong. That's a great song. English bottle cap. There's a friend of mine, dear friend, whom I love dearly. Nicholas, you were the first person I heard play Minnie Riperton. Les Fleurs. Oh, she had a great voice. Minnie Riperton, great voice. So Marianne Faithfull, she's been in the news this week. She's kind of been intellectualizing about how life is in 2024. Now, she's an old bird now, but back in the day, there was a raid on a house where Marianne, who was girlfriend of Mick Jagger at the time, how can we say, it was a drugs bust. And when the cops went in, Mick was introducing Marianne to a Mars bar. That's all I'm going to say. But Mars bar and Marianne Faithfull. Some people say, oh, it's an apocryphal story. It's just one of those, one of those rumours. It didn't really happen. Well, according to the cops, it did. But then again, who are we to know? We weren't there at the time. Maybe it'll be in... Because Mick Jagger's an old boy now, but he's still going. I mean, still going. I mean, what was the line he used on Grace Jones? I may not be perfect, but I'm perfect for you. What a charitable line that is. What a boy. Lauren Taylor says, I know John Helliwell. Thank you, Lauren. Des Ashton. What has a hazelnut in every bite? Squirrel shite, Des. Squirrel shite. Not a Mars bar. But I'm not sure. No, I can't. If you know the story, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to elucidate any further. If you don't, just Google Marianne Faithfull Mars bar. You'll catch my drift. But Marianne's talking about sort of 60s bohemia. She's talking about back in the 60s, the Beatles and the music and the style and everything. It was like a brave new world. But now, 2024, do you not agree that... That's very funny, Wiggy. Stop that. That's very funny. You've nearly just had me laugh out loud. Wiggy videos 14, a hairy Mars bar. What can I say, Wiggy? You can say that, but I can't possibly comment. But it is funny. So 2024, everything's jaded. I mean, it was kind of... I wasn't even in my teens in the 60s, but back in the day, art was more intense. The Beatles and some of the great artists of the time. I don't just mean musical artists, but I mean art for art's sake, as 10cc once said. All right, hang on. Karina Jane's just read it, laughing her cap off. So art in the 60s and certainly early 70s was intense. It was art, darling. I'm an artiste. Instead of in 2024, they're all just following the Benjamins, the money. So if they're an influencer, they want to have an OnlyFans. Stuart, yes, I just Googled it. I can see why that was said. English bottle cap. Andy Warhol. Oh, yes, everybody's going to be famous for 15 minutes. And you know that. So what connects Andy Warhol and Starsky and Hutch? Napoleon Bonaparte. Mark Bolan was an artist. Yeah, he was. I've actually been to the Tree, which was his last hit. Simon and Garfunkel, one of my favourites, says Nicky Watson. Nobody's got this, so I'm going to tell you. And, you can use this in a pub quiz if ever you compile them. So Andy Warhol had his kind of artistic factory. And David Soul was part of Andy Warhol's set. And David Soul went on to star in Starsky and Hutch. I think David Soul was the masked singer or the masked man at Warhol's studio. Silver Lady, I know. And that is genuine. David Soul was, I think he starred in one of the films, Andy Warhol's films. So art in the 60s was just a wonderful, brave new world, whether it was musical or whether it was painting or whether it was artistry. GB Patriot, Adrian, did you know Mind Games album full of hidden messages when played backwards and dog whistle on groove to the middle of LP as John Lennon hated dogs? Really? Didn't know that. But and the dancing was like a brave new world. So you were doing stuff that was brand new. The pill had just been introduced for women, so women were a lot freer and could make decisions rather than, relying on the guy to do the gentlemanly thing. I don't have to go into too much information for you to get that. But dancing was hotter, art was more intense, and then they had a sort of intellectual bohemia in the 60s. And now it's just bloody hipster style culture. It's just influencers on social media. It's grubby, it's dull, it's a disappointing mess. That's all it is. I mean, all these kids coming through, Generation Z, Generation Alpha, they know everything, but understand nothing. And the younger generations have access to everything, but they've got the understanding of nothing. Life is about context and patience, says the irreverent Reverend in his sermon this evening. I'm going to get to the Royals in a moment to round everything off, but I want to tell you something. You can join the dots, but you know that that Blue Peter and CBeebies is in trouble. As in, well, it's not making the BBC any money. Are they going to continue with it? Who knows? Wow, the old Bovril. I took photographs of David Soul when he landed at Heathrow in the early 80s. David Soul was one of the biggest stars in the world in sort of the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, I can imagine how big that was. Very impressed by that, the old Bovril. The old Bovril. I'm talking about Blue Peter and CBeebies and the BBC. And the reason I'm talking about this is because there's rumours coming out that some of the presenters on CBeebies and Blue Peter are fighting to get a place on Strictly Come Dancing, the new series later on in the year. Now, seemingly, a place on Strictly for a CBeebies presenter is seen as the golden goose. One of them is a Blue Peter presenter. So I'm going to make a bit of a prediction. Telly, you normally work about a year in advance. So why would a Blue Peter presenter be looking at getting onto a massive shop window like Strictly for the work or the telly presenting work? Because if you go on Strictly, it kind of shows you as an adult, not as a children's television presenter. You evolve in one fell swoop if you go on Strictly because you're seen as adult. So I believe there's something going on with Blue Peter. I'm not sure it's long for this world. If the CBeebies and TV presenters on Blue Peter are looking for other work, mark my words. Now, the Royals. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but, well, I can't really call him Royal Sausage Fingers, the King Charles, primarily because his fingers are slimmed down. I don't know whether they've been on a diet, or maybe that's why Queen Camilla's looking a bit grumpy recently. But ka-ching! King Charles, he wants to rent out. You know this house that Prince Andrew lives in, Royal Lodge? And they are English bottle cap. A current Blue Peter presenter or an ex-presenter? Current. Des Ashton says, David Soul breakthrough role was Magnum Force in 73. Was it really? Is that a film or it was the film, wasn't it? Of course. Peter Wingard was the same. Telly Savalas was a smart dresser but had no class. My parents met both of them in the 70s in pubs and clubs. Didn't Telly Savalas live in a hotel? Like full-time, proper live in a hotel? And Peter Wingard was seen as Department S. So we'll do a quick Peter Wingard, Department S, the TV series, Department S, looking left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. What a great band and song that was from, was it 1980? But Peter Wingard always, I was young enough, always wore his shirt cuffs outside of his jacket. I mean, it was the 70s, but it was... He'll be some boy if he's still alive. Be an old boy if he's still alive. But anyway, let's get back to... Brit family launch. Urgent missing persons appeal after man fails to return from holiday. Hayden, have you not been listening tonight? Wiggy videos. Last time I saw Blue Peter, someone damaged the garden. Didn't somebody... later admit to that? Some name. Interesting. So King Charles wants to get Handrew out of Royal Lodge because it's worth about 30 million, and he wants to rent it out for £1 million a year. Whoa, who would rent that? Well, Saudis probably. But Andrew doesn't want to leave, so he's the king. Charles. King Charles III. So he can say to Andrew, oi, off with your head. I'm the king. Me, I can do anything I want. So, get out of Royal Lodge. You and Fergie. I mean, Balmoral's open now, and they're reckoning that the 3,400 ticket holders are going to have to wear covers on their shoes so they don't wear the carpet down. Or just keep it clean so they don't make it dusty. And there's loads coming out about ginger sphericals. Loads. Do you know that, and I'm not telling you what to do with this, I'm just telling you that one of his original email addresses was Spike Wales, all one word, at hotmail.com. Why did they call him Spike? Why do you think Meghan's always got a smile on her face? And his other email was spikewells at hotmail.com. It's kind of like a posh. USA. Spike Wells. Sounds like Spike Wales. And his other email address was bazasales69. How are you, man, Harry? That's a bit grubby. bazasales69 at hotmail.com. I jest you not, they are three of his email addresses. Now, I'm sure they're not going to be. No, they're not going to be in working order. But just like to give you the exclusives and the bits and pieces that I find out for you. So, anyone for a pineapple ring? Yeah, wrongin'. Stuart says, oh, for Christ's sake. Long dong fooey. Brilliant. Should use that. Mild-mannered janitor. So thank you for all your likes. Please, as you're leaving the body of the Kirk this evening, make sure that you smash the likes. Next live is Wednesday, 8 o'clock. I'm going to try and bring you more ranty bollocks every day this week. Going to get up early in the morning, and I've already got some bits and pieces that I think you might be surprised at. So we've got a ranty bollocks in the morning. Thank you for your likes. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel because there are more videos coming and I don't want you to miss them. But most of all, thank you for your indulgence. It's always lovely doing these lives for you. I said over the summer we would do 90-minute lives. simply because it's now dark and I've got to go to bed to get up early. But other than that, no news is good news. Remember, the 100th live is probably going to be the weekend of 20th, 21st. I think the Sunday is the 21st. That's what we're looking for the live. And don't forget that we're going to do a live this coming Thursday at 10 o'clock. We're going to start a live that's going to look at the political shenanigans that's been going on. We'll review some of the stuff that's been going on, and we'll stay up until as late as we can to get the first few results in, so we can find out whether it's going to be a night of long knives or whether it's just going to be utter carnage, and which political parties will survive or not, as the case may be, and whether there will be people leaving this country and going back to homes in California. So that's going to be Thursday night, 10 o'clock, if you want to have a late night theatre of the mind. We're back Wednesday with another live. As I say, thank you for your indulgence. But whatever you do, wherever you go, stay safe, be well, and don't forget to take your Battenberg.